Have you ever felt like there's a vivid fire burning inside of you, yearning to break free and illuminate your life? That, my friend, is your vibrant life waiting to bloom. Welcome to the Vibrant Life Podcast. We are here to empower women just like you to liberate that vibrant life, to live authentically, and to harness the power within.
Our journey will take us through the enlightening realms of energy healing, goal setting, spiritual awakening, and so much more. We're stepping into the light of self-acceptance, of owning our power and potential.
If you have been yearning to dive headfirst into the world of entrepreneurship, or awaken your spirituality, or simply make peace with yourself, your search ends here at the Vibrant Life Podcast. As we embark on this enlightening journey together, we promise to hold your hand through every step of your journey to a more vibrant life.
Your adventure to true empowerment and authentic living begins here. Tap into the vibrant life you've always dreamed of. Subscribe now and join us at the Vibrant Life Podcast. Embrace your vibrant self. Until then, shine on.
Shine on.
Welcome back to the Vibrant Life Society. We had such a great conversation last time, and we felt it was so important to continue this discussion of self-care that we have actually created a list of self-care ideas for each stage of motherhood. We're going to just run through those and share how we've incorporated some of these ideas and then give you some that even we haven't tried, but maybe they'll fit for you.
It's always good to have tools in your toolbox.
That's right.
So these are all kind of coping skills or self-care things that you guys can be incorporating into whatever stage you might fall in. So I'm going to start with pregnancy. Pregnancy is one of my favorite times, especially when you don't have any other children. I find that the first pregnancy experience is kind of the most magical. It gets a little harder to incorporate some of these things the more children you have, but it's extra important to take that time for yourself if you do have other children. So my thoughts on things that you can do for yourself during pregnancy are finding some sort of prenatal yoga. You can either find yourself a prenatal class, which would be a really great way to talk to other moms, but you could also find something on YouTube as far as yoga or things like that. Prenatal massages can be super, super important. Maybe a little costly, maybe not in your budget, maybe just make sure you get a couple, but I would definitely make sure you get one right before you're getting ready to deliver, because it can just kind of take all those extra tensions and worries away. These other ideas are things that we've kind of talked about in the last episode that are good for all stages of motherhood, but pregnancy especially. Taking a nice warm bath, using essential oils, keeping a journal to reflect on how your pregnancy is going, writing a letter to your baby is a great way to kind of connect. And then anything mindful that's going to kind of take you right now into the here and now. So that could be just sitting and talking to your baby, reading your baby a book, singing your baby a song, those kind of things.
I love that. And some of these might not resonate with you, and that's okay. Pick and choose the ones that work for you. So next we're going into newborn. And so newborn is a time of learning and growing. And so it's really important to still be taking care of yourself. And so one of the best ways is actually accepting the help that your friends and family offer. I know it can be so hard and you don't want to be a burden on anyone, or you just feel like you want to be in your little bubble, but actually accepting that help. So I got a little bit of a plot twist when I had a newborn. I ended up going through a divorce at the same time as a newborn stage. And I remember my friend coming over and she just held my baby while I went and took a shower. And I mean, that was 6 years ago and that still makes me want to tear up and cry, but just those little things, but it's getting over your pride to accept that help, and it lets your friends love on you. Everyone loves snuggling a newborn. Girl, you're helping them out more than they're helping you out. So actually accepting those offers of help from friends and family can be a big one. Or if you're not willing to let someone into your home, which is totally fine, maybe you're worried about illness or things like that. My little nephew just had RSV when he was really young, but letting your family maybe send you food through Grubhub, order a Target order to be delivered, whatever that is. There's a lot of ways that they can help out without actually coming over to your house if that feels like more of a burden. Also, finding moments to indulge in those simple pleasures. I know sleep is so key at that point, and you just want all of it that you can get, and people will tell you to sleep while the baby's sleeping. That might not happen, but indulging in those simple pleasures, maybe taking that 10 minutes that your baby's taking a nap and having a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, reading a few pages out of a book that you love, or any of these experiences that we keep touching on, yoga, meditation, all of these things you can just pull in for a quick 10 minutes and it's going to make you feel like a human again. Yeah. It's going to make you feel like a woman, not just a mom. And that's very key in the newborn stage, as well as finding support. So reaching out to other moms. I know my hospital offered a lactation consulting session where you just came and like fed your babies together. I went to that a couple times. Reaching out to church groups you could do daycares, other moms at daycares, but finding support. There's online groups. You've got groups like ours where we have women in all different stages of motherhood. Sometimes it's nice to know that the stage you're in doesn't last forever. And so getting a good mix of people within your support group can be very helpful as well.
I love that. I did have a few things pop up for me when you were talking about having someone come snuggle your baby, but also knowing that it's okay to set boundaries. And if someone coming to hold your baby is not helpful, it's also okay to say no, and it's time for you to go now because I need my space back. Sometimes that can be a thing. So just kind of figuring out what you need, tapping into that intuition and figuring out what it is that you need in that moment is okay too, to sometimes kind of hold family at bay if you need a little extra help that way.
Or one of the tricks that I used to use was like, yes, you can come, but she's going down for a nap in 20 minutes. So I'm going to take some time and put her down then. So it was kind of like this like subtle way to be like, you can come for 20 minutes, but no, I'm kicking you out after that. Like we have things to be doing.
Yep.
So you can set that boundary and that's fine. Or you can be more upfront and less passive aggressive than I was and just be like, yeah, it would be helpful if you came for about 20 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great example of that. I definitely didn't learn those boundaries until later on. And going forward, I want to encourage moms to take back their power and know that it's okay for them to say no.
Yeah, absolutely.
The next stage of having a baby is probably that infant stage of month 3 to month 12. And this time can be a lot more exciting. You're finally out of that newborn survival stage, and now you have this baby that can interact with you and coo at you and love you. They get their first giggles, and it's just such an amazing time of a baby's life. But there are things that can be super stressful. So establishing a routine is super important. So knowing that baby gets up to eat at this time, setting routines for this is when nap time is. For us, it worked really well to have nap time at 10 in the morning for 45 minutes and going back down at 1 o'clock and having that nap go until maybe even 3 o'clock. Knowing that you have these little pieces of time where you can either take a nap yourself, because most of the time you're just gonna need it, or to be able to do some of these self-care things that we've talked about, or maybe it is throw in a load of laundry or clean up the kitchen or whatever. But if you have these established times, then you know that this is time for that. You can incorporate some gentle exercise like some postnatal yoga, going for a walk with baby in the stroller. I've heard and then also experienced. It's like one of those wives' tales where they say if your baby is fussy, you take them outside or you put them in water and it will instantly change their mood. So what we know from grounding exercises, I mentioned last time, those are grounding exercises.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yep, you're taking your baby from whatever energy that they have down to zero, which can really help. So that can be super important. Scheduling outings. It can be so hard to leave your house for the first 3 months. So if you actually schedule time to go out in public, whether it be with a partner or with friends or whatever it is, make sure that you're setting time for yourself. Delegating your task is going to be a theme all the way through for sure. And then maybe joining a mommy and me class. There's lots of fun things that you can do with babies. If you need something free, I loved the library story time. Yes. Libraries all over the country have library story time, and you just show up for half an hour. They'll read books, they'll play games. You can do some crafts with your kids, and it's super fun.
Yes, support your local library. We love it.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so let's talk about toddler stage. So we're defining that as like 1 to 3. And so we talked about this last time, but starting to set those boundaries with your kid and saying, you know, mommy needs to not be touched right now. Mommy's touched out. You can play next to me, but not on me. Setting those boundaries can start to happen at about this age. And then encouraging some independent play. That gives you 5 minutes just to be. Practicing mindfulness techniques and staying present. I know I really struggled with this when Gemma was little and we were playing. It's like, God, some of those games are so boring. They're mind-numbingly boring. So trying to be present, practicing techniques of like, even just I would speak out to her and be like, I am so glad that we're spending this time together. Or I can see that, you know, we have 3 pink objects. So just grounding myself in that moment and doing the things you hear, things you see, things you feel, just bringing yourself back into that moment. And it can also be doubling as teaching your kids words. So that's one that I used as well. Always scheduling regular breaks, getting back to the things that you love and prioritizing that, whether that be, for me, it was quilting, things I could do around my house, or getting out with friends. Always good. Scheduling activities that bring you joy. So your kid is, depending on the activity, they might be old enough to start doing some of those hobbies with you. So you can do them by yourself or as a family. So maybe that's, starting to go swimming, maybe that's going on walks together, whatever those activities that you enjoy doing, you can start incorporating your kid into that or continue to do it on your own. And then I did touch on this last time, but it is okay to hire a babysitter or pass that kid off on grandma and go out, either swapping with a mom too. I mean, it's crazy how supportive parenting communities can be, swapping kids back and forth or dropping it off with family, a babysitter, whatever that may be. That is okay. And it's okay to prioritize that.
I love that. Perfect. The next stage we're going to talk about is preschool and beyond. And number one on my list is making sure that you're still doing those self-care activities. And it needs to be regular. You need to schedule out time, carve out the time that you're going to do it. So it could be a weekly yoga class or a monthly massage. I'm trying to think of an example of something I schedule out. Mom's night. I have mom's night. And so this is a newer thing for me. So we've been doing it for
a couple years
now.
Yeah.
So, and we don't do it quite as frequently as we used to, but it's still hey, I need a mom's night. Somebody can throw it out and then we'll all get together, which is really great. So find your vibe tribe for sure. Prioritizing sleep, making sure that you have a consistent bedtime for your kids. I know we're struggling with this right now because we put them all to bed at the same time, but then they kind of filter in and they need a hug or they want to talk about something that happened in their day. And so we're working on boundaries right now. Okay, we set the boundary. If you need to use your neti pot is the thing I'm having with my oldest child. She'll wait until it's bedtime. She's like, I need to use my neti pot. I'm like, you've been watching TV for 30 minutes. That is something that should have been done prior to, when you say you're ready for bed, that's included in that. I need 10 hugs. So I'm sorry. I love the hugs. We got to cut them off because I just need some time to chill and to not have little people talking to me because I find that need to numb myself worse at the end of the day when they keep coming in and talking.
You're done. You're done. I made it to bedtime. I'm done. Just go to sleep.
Go to sleep. In fact, if you've never heard Samuel L. Jackson does Go the F to Sleep book, if you've not heard that, I actually played that for my children recently because I was like, listen, you're going to bed now. So we don't filter with our children. We want them to be able to express themselves. But that was a moment where I was just I was at the end and they're all laughing and they thought it was so funny. I was like, it's funny, but it's also very serious. Now go to bed.
Right.
We're done today.
For real?
For real, we're done. Okay. So that's funny. Did I read Health Set Boundaries? I think I started talking about bedtime. Boundaries was number 4 on my list. So we just kind of tapped into that. The other thing is delegating tasks. At this point, they're old enough to do chores. So if you're all going to function in a house, your child is responsible to be a functioning member of that household. So delegate things that are easy for them. We talked about this yesterday, adding in different chores as they get older. Mm-hmm. Our kids now scoop the cat box, they empty the dishwasher, they fold their clothes once a week. If we have other things they need to keep their room clean, but we're adding in mowing the lawn, picking weeds, washing windows, doing some vacuuming. Now we just expect that they do at least one chore a day. And then the other things can kind of filter in as they need to, but it takes so much off my plate to have them help. And they do so many fun things throughout the day anyways. It's okay to give them some structure with that.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in because that's something we've been working on. I started having Gemma help me do the dishes when she was 2, maybe. We did it together. And the thing is, I have all of her plates and cups. She's got her own little section and they're all at eye level and they have been since she was little. So starting to instill that independence, and we would do it in fun ways. My mom would make towers. So as she was unloading the dishes, if Gemma wasn't home, she would stack all her cups and plates up and try to make this crazy tower. Wow. And then Gemma would come home and snack it, but then she had to put them all away. So your kids can start helping you with chores pretty young. And she's 6 now. And I was reaching out to Audrey because she's wanting to earn money. And I'm like, I already have her do everything. I'm not going to pay her for things I expect her to do. But she does things at 6. She does things. She still puts away her dishes. I put away mine. She helped me load the dishwasher. She's in charge of picking up her toys. I don't expect her playroom to be clean all the time. It's not.
And our kids' room's not clean all the time either.
That's
no.
my personal
Yeah.
preference. I don't go in there. It doesn't bother me. But we do
Sure.
clean up like the living room. One of the things that I have found that's been helpful if you're starting to incorporate chores is we actually have a checklist. So I write out, these are the things that I want to do before bed or my nightly reset, and these are your nightly resets. And then we start them at the same time. So it's not like I'm going to sit here and relax while you do your chores.
Yep.
It's time for us both to start to take care of our home. And we talk about it like that, is we are a team. We're both living here. We're taking care of our home together so that it's a nice place to live.
I love that you brought that up. It is very difficult if you parent your children in a way where you're like, okay, it's time for you to go do this, but then you're sitting and not doing that. You may have done a million things in the day and it's your time to rest, but setting that example for, okay, it's time to get up and get ready now. Get up and get ready alongside your child so that way they know that this is something we do together. So that's a great parenting tip.
Oh, thanks.
It really is. So I love that for you guys. I think that's great.
Yeah.
The last thing on my list is nurturing your relationships. You are not just a mom. You are a person. And sometimes you lose yourself when you become a mom. And I did. I lost myself for a very long time, from the time I became a mom until my little guy was a baby. So that was 6 years that I was stuck in the rut of motherhood. I was just doing the things as I needed to do them because society told me, you do this, you do this, you do this. And I just didn't know that it didn't have to be that way. And so it took me a really long time to figure that out. So once I figured that out, I started to ignite that fire within me again to figure out that vibrant, authentic self. It took some time to get there, but I will tell you that motherhood is so beautiful when you're super tapped into who you are, and then you can relate to your children better. You can connect to your life better. You're happier, your kids are happier. So making sure that you nurture your relationships outside of being a mother, but also nurturing your relationship with yourself, because honestly, that is the most important relationship you will ever have.
Absolutely. I think that's a great point. And I think we've kind of pointed this out, but we want to make it really clear. Self-care doesn't have to be isolating yourself away from your family. So we also wanted to give some whole family ideas and examples of what we do to take care of ourselves, but also include our families.
Outdoor adventures. We've been biking for a few years, which is really amazing to get all the kids lined up on their bikes. And this is the first year we're actually going to bike without a trailer. So it can be really super fun. If you're living in the Des Moines area, the Grays Lake area is super flat, super easy. You get on the trail around Grays Lake. You can go to Mullet's for breakfast, and then you go back and there's a playground. So we love to do that on a Saturday morning. It's so fun. And then other things we just started adding in is hiking, which I don't know, I've never hiked before. There's amazing trails in this area too. So we took our kids out in the woods the other day, and you go down by the river and you're identifying the birds and the trees and all the new foliage is coming up, and just looking at the sky and just feeling happy and at peace and getting some exercise, which all of that makes you feel good.
Yes, I love that. So we do family game nights. That is one of the things we do. And we do that with my extended family. We're a big game family, but Gemma is definitely getting that bug. So, right now we're on a big Guess Who kick, but we usually do at least one game a day because kid games take like 5 minutes. So I just leave one out on the table, and that's kind of like our go-to game of the week. If she wakes up before school, sometimes we'll just do a quick game before school, or we'll do one after dinner. Again, it doesn't have to be a big thing, but it's a point for us to connect without screens, and a lot of times, I love this, she'll just start telling the stories that it's like, I don't have to dig, the things that I want to know about her day that she probably didn't share, but I don't know, she'll share it over a game.
My kid's therapist actually uses games during therapy for that very reason, because they'll open up because they're not super focused on what's happening, that they're having a conversation. So I love that that's your thought on that. We do game afternoons. We'll just plug away an entire afternoon, and we'll have all the snacky foods, and we'll sit around the table and we'll play games usually it's a Sunday afternoon. We call it Sunday Fun Day.
Love.
Which is a great phrase. So we love to do that. Another thing we like to do is cook. We cook together as a family. Get the kids involved when we can. Sometimes it's overwhelming and you have to set those boundaries of not tonight. I really am trying to get this on the table. But if you have just a few extra minutes to be like, hey, you want to cut this up? Let's practice using a knife. Let's practice putting things on the stove. Let's practice putting things in the oven, or just kind of can get people involved. But if the kids aren't involved, which sometimes that's a thing, it's a good way for me and my husband to connect, to talk about our days, say how things have been, and it's just a nice time.
Yeah. That's something I to do that has kind of backed off, and I've been thinking about getting back into it. We'll see if I do or not.
And that's okay. That's fine. Right?
And this goes into mom burnout, as I was feeling very overwhelmed because we were moving and there was just a lot happening in our lives. And so I was like, you know what? I'm outsourcing meal prep. And so I did a meal box. That was one of the things that I delegated. And now I'm kind of like, okay, I might have room to bring that back into my life. And so maybe we'll do that. Another thing that we really love to do together is creative projects. We are big artsy girls. We love crafts. And so we've done organized crafts like the Kiwi boxes. KiwiCo does boxes. I love them. We did those for quite a while. They were like our favorite thing. It's a good time just to connect. We do once a month. We go over to my sister's house and she has just like popsicle sticks and, just different things. So we made puppets and Gemma geeked over those and I was so surprised. But we did a little like show. Amy put together this cute box. It was so great. But crafts nights are always fun and something that we enjoy doing together. And that's a hobby of mine. So going back to bringing your kids into your hobbies, it just worked out that she loves doing that kind of stuff too.
Do that. I love it. Another thing on our list is volunteering together. And I have to say that we haven't done a lot of volunteering together. I work for a nonprofit organization, and on occasion we've had some things that we've been able to take the entire family to. I think it's a really good idea, and actually maybe it needs to be on my bucket list of ways that we can give back to the community. We do have there's like a food pantry down the street. It's just a cupboard that it says, take what you need, but leave what you can. And so I think that's also on my bucket list of going through the cupboard and seeing what we can get rid of, but somebody else might be able to use rather than tossing some of those things away. And then what kind of great lesson can you teach your kids by showing them to support other people?
Yeah, the food pantry is a big one. That's one that we've done because it is so simple for your little kids to get involved, because like we'll clean out the cabinets together. And then even if it's just like a little bag of a few little things, like every little bit helps. Yeah. And so we take that over, and I think it's just a good lesson to help kids see beyond themselves. And helping makes you feel good too. So you get something out of it.
Yeah, definitely. I love that.
Another one we love to do is movie nights. So, we watch movies probably more than we should, but
that's what you enjoy.
But there are sometimes I will go all out for it. So I'll bring out like the little air mattress and we'll put it in the living room. There's been times I've like strung Christmas lights up and we turn those on, but we always have popcorn. We always do a little like snacky treat. So M&Ms or something like that. And we just kind of make a night of it. It's not much different than our normal nights, but it's making it a little bit special.
Absolutely.
And it's fun, and I get the cuddles that I want.
Which is amazing. We do that actually on Sunday nights. We end our game day with popcorn night and a movie, and we do popcorn, cheese, apples, summer sausage. So that's our meal.
Yeah.
And we did that growing up. I added the summer sausage. We just did cheese and apples growing up, but even my grandparents did it. And it used to be a thing because popcorn was a cheap meal, and so it was because they couldn't afford food.
Right.
But now we've taken that through the generations, and it's so fun because I can really anticipate that my kids will probably do that with theirs someday too.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
So another one that we do is, well, I guess we don't really do it, but
another example
we have that you could incorporate, and we are maybe planning on incorporating, is fitness fun. So activities together, bike rides. We kind of talked about that earlier, but actually one thing that Gemma and I did, we went and did a circus class together.
Oh, that
like one of those aerial classes. So I guess we have done this. It was a more like one-off thing, but finding opportunities that you can do that together. Swimming lessons. I actually just pitched this to Gemma and I was shocked that she didn't do it. But horse riding lessons.
Oh, she shut that down?
I know. She was like, man, I took horse riding lessons when I was a kid and my mom took them with us. And so I was like, oh my God, the great memory. I want to do that.
So fun.
What 6-year-old who's obsessed with unicorns doesn't want to go horseback riding? I don't know, but maybe I'll try again later. I was also like, it's kind of expensive. So maybe I'm not upset about that, but.
Love that. Perfect. The last one on my list is gardening. And I'm actually getting ready to put my garden in tomorrow. I'm so excited. I'm going to try vertical gardening for the first time. I've got, what do I have? Cattle panel. It's way cheap way to make vertical archways. So we're going to grow our tomatoes and our cucumbers, and we're going to make an amazing arch this summer. And I think it's just going to be super fun. My kids do help me, maybe not so much the planting. I'll probably get everything planted. Although we picked up a little, an atrium, where you've got the little plant inside the little bulb. We did that yesterday with Miles, and he's going to start an aloe plant inside. They can go out and they can help me pick produce, and they can help me pick weeds. And they love, like, if we're making a meal and I'm like, I need a cucumber, I need a tomato, I need a pepper, they'll just run out there and pick me something, which is so great to have fresh produce all summer long.
I love that. Mine is not as cute of a story, but in our old house, we had a dandelion problem. And when Gemma was little, I was out pulling weeds, and I was like, Gemma, go get that little yellow flower. And she calls them bees. And so she would pick bees.
Aww.
And it was so cute.
I love that.
Okay, so our last one that we have is a family retreat, a family getaway. This could be going somewhere for a vacation if that's within your budget, but also staycation. So we've done both. We love the Great Wolf Lodge. We've done that a couple times. But then my family's also done staycations. We started this tradition during the pandemic, and we've actually loved it since then. So we do a family holiday week. And so in the pandemic, we would, quarantine for 2 weeks, and then we got together for a week, and we just did it at our house, and everyone came and stayed, and every day was a different theme. So we did one that was holiday themed, where because it was a pandemic, we hadn't done any holidays together. So I think it started, the first day was Labor Ween. So it was like November, you guys. It was so cold out. But we went out and we grilled for lunch for Labor Day. And then everyone took a room, and we had Gemma go trick or treat between the rooms in a house, and everyone was required to dress up. And then we did Thanksgiving and Christmas and birthdays. I think we did St. Patrick's Day and Valentine's Day in there. It was a mess. We realized we ate the same foods for all of our holidays. So we were really sick of our go-to foods by the end. But it was so much fun that we've decided to do it again. We're also a big family. So with in-laws and stuff, it's nice to just be like, okay, we have these traditions that we can just plop anywhere on the calendar that fits for all 5 of us, because that's really hard to do. So that's nice. So that was a fun kind of pop-up tradition. But Gemma and I have done that, even just the 2 of us. I've been like, okay, we're going to retreat this weekend, and we do all of our favorite things at home, and I put my phone away, which is, something she's excited about, and we try to just be really present. And so that's great self-care. Again, we talked about disconnecting, a digital detox. I mean, that's a great way to do it. Yeah. So
that's amazing. Okay, I love the list. I hope you guys can pick and choose, and maybe you even just heard one little thing or one little seed was planted that can kind of help you take better care of yourself.
Yeah. And again, self-care doesn't have to be complicated. It also doesn't have to mean you're isolating yourself. It can be done in the company of others, and that's what we love about it, nurturing these relationships, whether that be your family, your friends, or with your partner. So always great. And let us know in the comments what ideas you loved. We'd love to hear from you, or if you have any topic suggestions, you can find us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. So all right, see ya.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning into the Vibrant Life podcast. We hope today's episode has energized and inspired you to live your best life. If you enjoyed what you heard, be sure to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform so as to never miss an episode. And please take a moment to leave us a review. Your feedback fuels our mission to bring you more valuable content. Remember, your journey to Vibrant Life is ongoing. Stay connected with us on social media at Vibrant Life Society for daily tips, motivation, and community support. As we wrap up today's conversation, we encourage you to embrace each moment, pursue your passions, and prioritize your well-being. Together, let's create a life that radiates with energy and purpose. Until next time, live vibrantly. See you in our next episode.